Trump tells NBC, no, I'm not joking. I'm not joking about seeking a third term. When asked whether he wanted another term, Trump responded, I like working. I'm not joking, Trump said, when asked to clarify, but I'm not. It is far too early to think about it. There are methods which you could do it. Another I told you so moment, okay? A lot of other people also said that this was most likely going to happen, but I'm telling you, dude, 100p, dude. I told you. What will the Democrats do now? And I don't like the counter from a lot of people that are like, well, Obama will get to do a third term then. It's like, okay, dude, sure. That'll solve the problem. For sure. Trump goes a third term. There's no more Obama. Trump goes a third term. There's no more elections. You feel me? When his third term comes, there will be an election like Putin's Russia. I don't know. I don't know what kind of authoritarian version will exist at that point. I don't know. But it won't be even the theoretical liberal democracy that we've come to love and enjoy. Let me tell you. I don't know what he's going to do, man. I don't know. There's so much. There's so much happening and not in a good direction that who knows how this man will continue undermining this country, destroying this country.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. I said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that.
In a phone call with NBC, Trump saying, quote, there are methods which you could do it, including possibly urging his vice president, J.D. Vance, to run and then cede power back to Trump. The president saying that's one method, but that there are others too. But a third term would defy the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution.
It's so funny the way that these guys approach the subject matter when they're like, well, this is unconstitutional. It's like, what has he done that's constitutional? Every night Trump goes to bed and while he's tweeting from the toilet, he's wiping his ass with the Constitution. And you guys are like, well, you know, this is illegal, sir. Yeah, a lot of stuff that he's doing is unconstitutional. Virtually everything he's doing is unconstitutional. It's kind of the entire point of Trump 2 is seeing how far you can go with the shredding of the Constitution. Kind of everything that we've done thus far, isn't it?
Democrats sounding the alarm. Congressman Dan Goldman saying,
yeah, we can't amend the Constitution for anything good, by the way, just for this. We can't do that for anything else, by the way, okay? God forbid. Only for our dear leader, our glorious president, America's own Recep Tayyip Erdogan, dude. Holy moly. Dems would vote for it just to get Obama. I know. And that is like the terrifying thing that I want to talk about here, okay? If you grew up anywhere outside of the United States of America, outside of like Western Europe, for example, if you grew up anywhere in the third world, in a developing nation, in a second world country, whatever, okay? Outside of Western Europe and the United States of America or Canada or whatever, you know exactly what's going on. It is happening in broad daylight in front of our eyes once again. A lot of Americans, on the other hand, cannot comprehend what's going on or are just completely checked out or think it's awesome. And today I'm going to be talking about that because there's a new YouGov poll that showed that Republicans especially do not care about due process at all. Like, not even a little bit. And it's very funny because they don't understand what due process is because when directly questioned about it, they're like, yeah, okay, that's not a great idea. Americans broadly don't comprehend the damages of eroding due process. One of the best parts about the American process in general. I am horrified at how stupid most Americans are. It's crazy. I'm horrified at how stupid they are. I'm horrified at how angry and resentful the Republicans are to a degree where they are advocating for such things. It's really messed up. But yeah, Democrats allowing Donald Trump to potentially overturn the term limits on presidential runs in an effort to slam back Obama into the race is one of the most idiotic things I've ever thought about. And that is precisely why I think Democrats might do it, because they're stupid. Just in, Trump asked point blank if he's joking about possibly seeking third term. And he's going to say, I'm not joking. And it's going to play itself out in the exact same ways that it always has. Trump's going to say, I'm not joking. I'm being so for real with you. And then every one of his dumbass fans are going to be like, duh, yeah, based. Third term, based. How about a fourth one? How about a fifth one? Put him in a vat. Make sure that he survives. Put his brain in Neuralink. We need it. Based. Trump should keep serving until every Guatemalan is out of this country. Based. But in any case, and then all the Republicans are going to be like, oh, he's just joking. Please don't pay attention to that. Yeah, just like he was joking about Project 2025, just like he was joking about Project Esther, which the media didn't really cover that much. But yeah, he was just joking about Project 2025, except he's doing it. So I guess it's not a joke.
About a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is, in a way, it's more
Look at this scumbag smiling ear to ear. Oh my God.
term because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged. So it's actually sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit.
He said, I technically I ran the country in 2020 as well. It was rigged. So I'll do a fourth term. I'll do a fifth term. Why not? A sixth
Because
term.
Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of a country as fast as this. Even look at our...
Dude, no one thinks this. Like, the only people that still think this, I think, are Asmongold fans who are neats themselves, so they don't care about the stock market or they don't care about anything. You know what I mean? The crypto people are, like, supposed to be the diehard loyalists here. And even they now have paper hands on Trump, okay? I have friends that, like, are in those spaces that constantly send me the crypto guys being like, yeah, hey, guys, I don't mean to be an alarmist, but, like, it kind of seems like Trump is everything up. The people that think he's popping off and he's killing it, that number is getting narrower and narrower. It's getting smaller and smaller every single day. He has done zero positive things so far. First of all, the markets are crying every day. So there's that. But then even the crypto markets are crying every day. So they don't like that either. Everyone is kind of upset, I think.
Border, we have nobody coming in. And you can come into our country, but you have to come in legally. But we have nobody coming in to our country. It's almost shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
At an appropriate precedent limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to
I don't
be?
even want to talk about it. I'm just...
Because, like, the two things you can't up is the bag for the wealthy. He's doing that with the stock market. And also price of commodities for the average Joe. I was talking about this with my dad last night. Like, we're talking about the tariffs, right? Because we're trying to figure out, like, why he's doing this. Like, he's trying to bring up the overall net revenue generated through tariffs back to, like, from, I think, like, what, 4% overall revenue generation to like 8%. And it's funny because, like, in that process, you are going to raise the cost of all of these goods. And when you do that, when you raise the cost of regular commodities, it's over. The American project is done. That is the last thing that holds the Amerifat empire together. The moment that an Amerifat can't buy a new television that is, like, marginally better with a little bit of bells and whistles on it for $200, $250, but instead has to get it for $400, so he has to put that purchase off for a year, is the moment that they bring the guns out. So this entire tariff process, if it causes inflation, and it will cause inflation, because I read, I look at I look at Financial Times and Reuters and the reporting on the matter, and Bloomberg, where they go to China and they talk to the Chinese producers, and they're like, yeah, we'll pay 50% of the tariffs. It's fine. We'll lower our prices a little bit. But that means 50% is still being paid by the American, the American importers, which means the overall cost of the good is going to go up. That is going to carry over to the consumer. That's not something that the American consumer is going to like. As a matter of fact, here's proof in the pudding. Donald Trump is president. Inflation under Biden and the cost of living crisis is literally the reason why Americans were like, I don't even care if he says he's going to deport every Guatemalan. He's like, my best friend is undocumented. My dad is undocumented. I'm still voting for him because, I don't even care if my dad gets deported, but in the process, like, eggs are cheaper. I will do it. I will be on board with that. That's the one thing everybody cares about. Americans are very selfish. Americans are selfish as dude, you really think that's all? There's tons of people already in that situation right now. Poor families unable to afford housing, let alone treats. Yes, that's my point. It's not just treats. It's like basic goods. But the treatlerites are the ones that have the most motion. The treatlerites are the Republican Party's base of support. We're not talking about the working poor. The working poor gets shafted regardless. with no hope whatsoever. I'm talking about the Treatlerites, the suburbs will cry. Tears of blood. I'm telling you, growing up was expensive. Everybody didn't have everything. Trump thinks we can go back to that, but that's nuts. And that's only nuts because you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, especially when things being relatively cheap, relatively affordable is precisely what holds this entire process together. That is what stops Americans from rioting. That is the only thing that holds this society together, is the ticker tape. I'm telling you right now, that is the only thing that stops Americans from rioting. The moment that things are no longer as affordable as they were, and it hasn't gotten to that degree yet. I'm telling you right now, it's getting there, but it's not fully there, okay? When we get there, you will see. I'll give you the example that I always use. We told Americans to stay indoors. We'll pay you. Just stay indoors for a little bit, please. You're gonna die. We don't have a vaccine. We don't know what this disease is. And they literally went to the state capitals with weapons because they were like, if I can't get my fucking haircut and my Twinkie, I will kill you. I will kidnap you and I will kill you, elected representative. What do you mean? People still carried resentment in places where they never even shut down. As a matter of fact, I think people carry resentment more in red states where they didn't even shut down. They were angry at the behest of blue states where people were wearing masks. They were fantasizing about this like Chinese style zero COVID policies being implemented in fucking California when that wasn't the case either. And people were upset on behalf of California all the way from Arkansas. It's like, dude, you never even had a shutdown. What is your grievance? Shut the fuck up. And they still talk about it. Like imagine, you're in South Dakota. They never closed down. And you got chatters from South Dakota whose parents are still talking about the COVID shutdowns and how devastating it was. It's like, what did you shut down? You didn't even shut down. Yeah, like with immigration, doesn't affect me, but I see it on TV. This is the resentment and anger of relatively comfortable people that don't like the instability that they see on television, and they're stupid enough to believe everything they see on television. That's it. It's called empathy, Hasan. Yeah, empathy. The average Ohioan has a lot of empathy for the average Californian. What are you talking about? I mean, I know you're joking, but goddamn. The only time America has class solidarity is on the boundaries of reactionary thought. There's no, which is ironically not class solidarity anyway.
I want to talk about a third term now because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. You know, we have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we're doing. Most importantly, they love the job we're doing.
Yeah.
So you said you were upset with Putin. Would you say your relationship with Vladimir Putin is
job we're doing? Nobody loves the job he's doing. That's just so funny. Like, who's saying that, bro? Who are you talking to? Witkoff? Is that the only guy you're talking to? Navarro? So much love. People love the job we're doing. Everybody loves it. My favorite politician, Asman Gold. That's his name. He loves it. He loves me. He says, I'm based. I don't know what the kids say. Kids say based all the time. That's right. He's apolitical. He loves me.
Could move to the position of president. That's not being elected. The problem with that is the 12th Amendment says specifically that if someone's ineligible.
Bro, this is literally Erdogan. I'm not even kidding. I think Donald Trump might be an Erdogan appreciator. This is straight up like 1-to-1. Oh my God. It's like Putin, Erdogan, Donald Trump. Okay. Putin is the guy who wrote the theory. Erdogan is the one who put it in application in the terms of praxis, and Donald Trump is making a copy of it. It's crazy. Oh my God. How are people not recognizing what's going on, dude? It's like, this is the new method. I talked about this before. I think they see China's rise and they learn the wrong lessons from it, right? At least in America, where they look at China and they're like, well, these guys have so much motion. They can do whatever they want. They have complete control over the entire government. They can just build, miles and miles of high-speed rail if they choose to do so. Like, no one can really say anything about it. And they look at that situation and their takeaway is just like the wrong lessons.
Well, that interview I heard, and I think it's good news that he believes it would take a constitutional amendment to allow that. But if he got on the ballot I don't know that the Supreme Court.
Good news. Good news that he still recognizes that there are legal hurdles that he must overcome instead of just bouldering through it, which he is inevitably going to do. Good news. How do people not connect the dots he was setting up? He isn't a Putin opponent. He's an admirer of how he constructed his dictatorship. I think that America looks to a country like China in general and realizes that it's virtually impossible to compete against a country that has that level of power and that level of motion. The part that they don't recognize, however, is that China is a ginormous country, much larger than the United States of America. How do they have this level of awesome power? It's not because of authoritarianism. It's because they also have been able to produce results for the Chinese people. And they don't understand that. They don't understand that at all. They do not comprehend this. Without high-speed rail, without rapid urbanization, without rapid development, without China becoming a competitive global superpower after a century of humiliation, they would have so much unimaginable instability. You cannot control 1 billion plus people by simply crushing their spirit. You have to do a carrot and the stick. If it's all stick, it's not going to work. This is something that American leadership does not understand. They think, nah, just all stick, no carrot. It's fine. All stick, no carrot is India. Carrot and the stick is China. All stick, no carrot is India. Isn't there definitely authoritarian elements of the Chinese government, or am I being too biased? No, of course there are. That's why I said there's a carrot and a stick. Of course. First of all, every government is authoritarian. That's what governments do, okay? There are different ways there's different mechanisms of establishing like whether or not something is appropriate in terms of rules and regulations, but of course, the Chinese government is authoritarian as well. Of course. And in some ways, it is more authoritarian than the United States of America. Okay? This is 100% correct. This is why I always say there is a degree of censorship in China that does not exist or did not exist in the United States of America until recently. And America is moving in that direction. Instead of doing all the cool, fun, good things that the Chinese government has done, that plays a major role in the Chinese population's attitudes towards the government being relatively positive, regardless of the suppression of speech, for example. America refuses to do any of the benefits and only want to do the bad, only want to do the social repression. It's ironic because anti-Chinese propaganda, for example, dictates that in China, if you say something about Xi Jinping, if you call him Winnie the Pooh, they come in and they disappear you, right? Like that's the claim that like they will black bag you in the middle of the street. Plainclothes officers will come in and they'll fucking disappear you for writing, I don't know, an op-ed about how Xi Jinping is Winnie the Pooh or something, right? Meanwhile, we're doing that in America. The things that we claim they're doing in China, we are doing in America right now. At least when the Chinese government is like disappearing people for a little bit, it's guys like Jack Ma. Let's continue. I don't know why we're talking about China again.
Who is going to stand in the way of what sounds like an extra constitutional agenda here?
All right, Kim Whaley, thank you.